friends. Dean here with Escape to Gaming. This is kind of an impromptu little rant or vlog I'm going to do. In fact, I just came home from work. I'm hot, I'm tired. Just want to take a shower and just relax and maybe play a game, and have some fun. And I turn my, Facebook on, and I want to take the time and go through and see what my friends are doing and posting and see, any new game trailers that I've missed and all the usual stuff that I look forward to with social media. It's a great way to, get your fix for what's coming out and, hey, check out this new, trailer for this new Mad Max game. Luckily, I just came home to a wonderful live stream, which I'm missing right now because I think this is more important. I've already watched like an hour and a half of it, of the new Mad Max game, and it looks fantastic. And I'll get into that in a little bit, but I wanted to cut it short because a friend of mine, Cameron of Industrial Gamer, sent me a link, and then I also saw the same link shortly thereafter on a friend's Facebook site about EA. I think it was out of PC Gamer magazine. It said EA is opted against putting a single-player campaign in the new Star Wars Battlefront game because, quote, no one will play it, unquote. No one will play it. No one's going to play a single-player campaign or single-player missions in a game. That's all I've done for the last 3 weeks is just playing Battlefront 1 and 2, playing the hell out of it. I've never played this, ever, in multiplayer, not even in split screen, surprisingly. And I had this back in the day on the PlayStation 2 and then bought it on the Xbox, rebought it recently for my collection on the Xbox. Just found this, fortunately, for the Xbox as well, and I'm enjoying the space battles and having so much fun with it. Partly because I've seen quite a bit of beautiful gameplay footage and graphics in videos and, dev commentaries and stuff, and documentaries, and how they're making this wonderful new DICE EA, Star Wars Battlefront game. And it looks gorgeous. I applaud them. I take my hat off for them making something that's authentic looking, that's a real tribute to the Star Wars universe that we all love. Or as myself as a Star Wars fanatic and geek, of course I can't speak for everyone, but I love it. And I'm so happy to enjoy these games. They mean so much to me. And that years later I can still play these. And if my nephew's in town, we can still play the split screen. It's fantastic. I love it. Even on my new HD 4K 55-inch Samsung TV with component cables, I've been playing this and it looks wonderful. It's still, on today's technology, still looks and plays amazing as my TV knows and upscales or downscales whatever you have plugged into it. It knows, and you get an optimal picture, which I didn't think was going to work. So to me, these old games and consoles like my Xbox never go out of style. I love it that I can years later, over a decade later, still play these games and have a blast with them. Is very telling about that Microsoft did something right early on. They made a game that you can play anytime you want, as long as you have hardware that works. That's why I have 3 original Xboxes for that very reason. So make sure if one goes, that I'll still have a backup, and just in case the backup goes, this is kind of my Fallout Vault 101, safeguard. I like stockpiling my favorite games and consoles for down the road. So if the shit hits the fan and I'm not working as much, or not making that much money, at least I'll have all the games and consoles to keep me happy the rest of my life, however long that is. So, needless to say, I'm excited about this, and EA has been going out of their way, EA/Star Wars on Twitter and Facebook, to answer people's questions about the new game. Of course, it's all about multiplayer, as you know. Everything is about multiplayer today. And no offense to my multiplayer friends in their community, I have some of my very best friends. I'm not just saying this. They're very multiplayer centric. They love multiplayer games. They'll occasionally play and sink their teeth into a good single player campaign, but it's all about online multiplayer, whether it's a good racing game or a Battlefield game or what have you. That's what is interesting to them. And they've developed the time and skills and the clans that they play with to enjoy those games and roll their sleeves up and have a blast with them. Sadly, my experience with online multiplayer, because I haven't done very much of it, and I just go online and play with whatever groups I can play with, especially with the racing games, has been disastrous. I've had a horrible experience, and it's really put a foul taste in my mouth for multiplayer online today, with little children sounding off, mouthing off, screaming and yelling, campers, people that have, incredible experience. The minute you jump into the game, you're instantly killed from God knows where. I have no interest in that. It's not fun for me. And even if you can survive for more than 30 or 60 seconds, it just isn't that much fun. Now, a campaign where I can slow down, take my time, pause the game, come back to it, work my way, get to the save points, or, in some of the older games in particular, or PC games, you can freeze the game and save your progress along the way, and I enjoy that process. I like a good linear game. I love open world games too, but I like a story and a campaign, whether it's a GTA 5 in an open world setting, or something like, Wolfenstein, The New Order, that's more linear. I love the fact that I can take my time and go through and enjoy this game today or a decade from now if I want. To me, that's what gaming is all about, and frankly, that's what collecting is all about. I'm collecting experiences. I'm collecting single-player experiences that I can enjoy now. I can stop and pick up again a week from now, or a couple months from now, or years from now. That's what it's all about. That's why they're still making single-player games. So what do I come home to? I come home to PC Gamer Magazine has an article which my friend sent me, and like I said, another friend, shortly after posted on Facebook that EA is, we've researched all the data. No one plays single-player games anymore. Oh, really? I find that fascinating, as the bulk of my friends love, single-player solo missions and campaigns. I don't know where they're getting this data from, but it's disgusting to me. If I didn't have such an affinity for the Star Wars universe and the Star Wars games, I would give them the high sign and say, you know what, you just made my boycott list, and boycott the game. But I'm going to spend the $60 or more, if there's single-player DLC, I'll certainly, pay for it, to play the new Star Wars Battlefront just for the survival missions, just for those little single-player elements. They just take a portion of it. You probably won't be able to navigate the AT-ATs and speeders and all that, but you'll get to play some of the infantry, ground troops against increasingly difficult waves of bots. And to me, that's fine. That's what I do when I play Battlefront, the old ones. I do the same thing. The beauty is, especially in Battlefront 2, is that they at least gave you a campaign you can sink your teeth into, and I love that. That's what I love about the game. Although quite often, because of my limited time, I just go in and click the instant action and pick my favorite map on Bespin or whatever and dive in, and it's very addictive. I love Battlefront. So nothing is more offensive and hurtful to me than to hear the developer that so far is doing gorgeous work on this game is making it multiplayer centric. That doesn't work for me. Either they're doing that now, then maybe down the road they'll finally find out that more people actually were interested in having a single player thing, and then maybe they'll kick out the DLC. I'd pay $100 for a single player Star Wars game. They canceled Star Wars 1313. For God knows what reason. It looked absolutely gorgeous. The footage I've seen so far and the cutscenes and the action looks wonderful. Playing as, I think it's Boba Fett, the bounty hunter, on these shitty sections of Coruscant in the Star Wars universe. It looks fantastic. But for whatever reason, they think that people aren't interested in something like that. And this is infuriating to me. Ironically, EA has also come out with another game this year. The new Need for Speed reboot, I guess it's called, or whatever. But and the graphics are absolutely astonishing. Gorgeous, impeccable graphics, wonderful attention to detail. I honestly thought it was so photorealistic, I thought it was actual footage. I didn't know that it was even a game, the first trailer I saw for it. But it's another server-based game. A game that, it's like a McRib sandwich at McDonald's. Don't get too attached to it, don't enjoy it too much, because another month from now, you won't be able to have it. Well, you'll have the Need for Speed game and Battlefield and all these other multiplayer Star Wars games will be around for probably a couple years, but that's it. As soon as they are no longer popular, they pull the plug on the server and fire the servers up for the next new thing that everyone has to have. God forbid for posterity that we go back and play an old game. God forbid that we go and enjoy something that we enjoyed at one time once before. It's so frustrating to me. I've said this on so many rants. I mean, it's probably the staple of my show. I don't like to be negative. I don't like to bag on things that other people are passionate about. I love the gaming community. And if gamers, they tend to focus on Nintendo games or old retro games from the Sega Genesis days, more power to them. I like them too. And I do like multiplayer, but only local multiplayer on the couch, split screen. I love it. And I've played a tremendous amount of it. For years, I love it. That's why the minute I buy a new console, I immediately buy an extra controller. I still do. I have an unopened PS4 controller in a box down here on the floor in my little stand down here, just in case my nephew's in town. We haven't even opened it out of the box yet because we haven't had a split screen game to play on the PS4 yet. Or he just hasn't, the planets haven't lined up and he's been here for a good session, but that's the first thing that I do. So I do like multiplayer, but my idea of multiplayer is split screen. When you can look at your friend getting frustrated and you spit your soda out, or whatever, it's funny to watch people's reactions, watching them nut up, lose their cool as they're losing, or watching them brag as they're winning, whatever. It's fun. And yeah, you can see the other map, and some people don't understand split screen, but it's one of those things where you had to be there. And I mean, I went going back to Duke Nukem Time to Kill on the couch and split screen, I mean, untold hours playing it. So I do like multiplayer in my own old-fashioned way. So I don't want to take anything away from anyone else. If people like multiplayer games in Battlefield and Call of Duty, that's great. But just at least put a single-player campaign in it, because I will play it, and my friends will play it too. And I have friends that like both. They like multiplayer and single-player games almost evenly. And I think that's fine. They can't make every game to have, multiplayer. I don't think Alien Isolation had multiplayer, and I know that Wolfenstein, The New Order, didn't have it. And if they had made a multiplayer segment for my friends, that would have been fine. Instead, they chose to focus on the single player, and thank God they did, because it made a fantastic games that I can enjoy for years to come. So, EA has this new Need for Speed game, and it's all about servers. Oh, the power of the server, we can do all of this stuff. I'm not interested in spending full price for a game and then have problems with the servers being down, problems with lag, problems. We have the most expensive internet. It's like double the speed of any internet we've ever had, and we still have streaming problems almost daily on the fucking thing. It drives me nuts. We can't even stream Netflix consistently without problems. I'm trying to stream this Mad Max thing today. In 1 minute it's 60 frames a second, the next minute it drops down to 15 frames a second. It drives me nuts. To me, the technology isn't there, and even if it was, I don't care. I'm not into a flash in the pan, here today, gone tomorrow, Bic lighter you can throw across the room when it's done, when the servers are pulled and it's not popular. Polygon just had an article, I think it was 2 nights ago, on another server-based, with the glories of the cloud, that they can do this new Crackdown 3 game. And man, the graphics look fantastic. I love Crackdown. The first Crackdown, I've never played the second, but the first one is my favorite exclusive, along with Forza, on the Xbox on the Xbox 360. I absolutely love the game. When I heard that they were going to have a new Crackdown game, I didn't know any details about it. I said, that's it. I'll get an Xbox One just for Crackdown. It looks fantastic. Well, now it's all about multiplayer. It's all about the power of the cloud. They can have 10 or 20 times the power of just the Xbox One by itself. You can bring a whole city to its knees. Well, don't you think I like to bring a city to its knees without the cloud? Well, oh, I see. Well, my friend of mine goes, oh, Dean, no, you'll be able to play it offline. Oh, yeah, but you won't be able to blow, buildings down, all that. Again, it's a watered down, it's like, well, we'll throw you a couple table scraps to the single-player offline crowd out there, because it's all about the cloud now. That's why I have not bought an Xbox One. Hi, Vinny. Vinny's going to come up and add his 2 cents. That's why I haven't bought an Xbox One yet. They ruined Forza Horizon 2 and Forza 5, in my opinion, with forced drivatars. And now they're going to do this thing with the Xbox One, with Crackdown, another favorite exclusive with the cloud. It's uncalled for. I'm sick of it. Every game I get excited. The Crew, when I first saw it back in 2013 or whatever, I think it was at E3, they started showing footage for The Crew, and you can assemble a car any way you want. They show the thing going together. You can make it into a four-wheel drive to go cross-country. All of these wonderful concepts. I am excited. The graphics look impeccable. I can't wait for this game. Then I find out it's a server-based game. Well, there goes that one. Then I find out they ruined the Forza 5. Ruined it with the forced drive avatars. I don't care that I can play it offline. If I have to have a billboard over every car that imitate the crappy way the bulk of my friends tend to drive. I do have some of my racing friends and multiplayer racing friends that are quite good, and I would be honored to race against people as professional and as ethical as they are. But my experience with online racing has been horrible. Horrible. Everyone uses you as a guardrail. No one respects any of the rules. That goes right out the window. To me, it's not fun. I just don't find it fun. So this whole new thing about cloud games and server-based game, the new Tom Clancy's, I think it's called Division, and then there's a new Rainbow Six game. It's all server-based only. I mean, right down the line, since 2013, gaming died. That's why I'm calling the name of this vlog The Day Gaming Died, because in 2013 I started seeing a new trend where the games that I'm initially excited about are dying. One by one, they're falling by the wayside. I'm not interested in something that I can't play all the time, that I can't play when I want. I'm not interested in that kind of gaming. It doesn't interest me at all. I'm not interested. So, I gotta take a break and take Vinny outside here. He's gonna drive me nuts. Sorry about that. I had to put Vinny outside. This is one of these rants where, I didn't even care how my hair looked. I just, so I got to get the camera fired up and get this off my chest. So I appreciate your patience with us. But so another friend of mine recently just posted a wonderful little article about the No Man's Sky, which initially was another game. It's like someone reached into my subconscious and pulled out the perfect game. There's nothing I like better. That's the reason why I love the Star Trek TV show so much. The exploration of space. It's just wonderful that we can explore something, above and beyond the shitty confines of this planet we live on. I think it's a wonderful concept, but it's another server-based game. And a friend of mine posted, I can't wait for this, and this is going to be great. And I made kind of a derogatory comment. I said it's a shame that it's a server-based game, because I was initially very excited for it. And he thought I was, picking him apart or picking the game apart, which I'm not. My whole point was that I was excited about this game. Nobody wanted No Man's Sky more than me, but I refused to pay for a flash-in-the-pan, here today, gone tomorrow experience. I'm not interested. As a collector, as a game collector who loves the posterity of gaming and likes to preserve memories of old Sega Genesis games and Super NES games or Commodore 64 games or Atari 2600 or original Xbox or PlayStation 2 games. I like having those experiences to look back on, and I got to put Duke Nukem Time to Kill in again. I got to relive a little of that magic. And sadly, these are all empty, shallow, hollow experiences that will be shit-canned the minute they don't become popular anymore. I'm not interested in this fly-by-night thing. And a lot of people go, well, Dean, you just need to see it for what it is and just enjoy it for the season, for the year that it's out. Like strawberries. You enjoy them when strawberries are in season, and then you switch to the next fruit that's in season or whatever. And that's fine with food. But the beauty is at least I can buy frozen strawberries and have them year-round or whatever. But this trend in gaming, it is maddening to me. And I see more and more of it. And I see more and more rationale of people, rationalizing it and thinking it's a good thing. I don't see it that way. I feel like it's the fable of the king that has no the king that has no clothes, and I'm the only one that sees the king is naked. And I'm standing up and saying something about it because I'm sick of the trend. It's like it's feces or famine. It's like you can't have one or the other. It's either all multiplayer or it's all single player. Dude, you can have both. Developers, you can have both. It may take you another 6 months to a year to get the game out, but if you find it's important and you see it's a game where people would like the single player and multiplayer, invest the time in it. People will like it and people will pay for it. I don't understand this, this reasoning. So Polygon had this article about the new Crackdown game, and they said, about the power of the cloud, they can do all this stuff. I just put a simple, like a one-sentence thing on it. It's a shame, a game that I wanted to play, but sadly it's all about the cloud. So to me, an offline experience will be watered down, no sale. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe the barrage of hate. I had like 20 hateful comments that were made, or replies to my comment, within the first 5 or 6 minutes. I had to delete the comment because it was just blowing up my notification box on Facebook. Just hate, hate, hate. Well, fine, enjoy living in the past, asshole, and all this stuff. Just no one seems to understand it, because we're having a whole new generation of people that are raised on throwaway, disposable entertainment. It's why no one collects games. It's why everything is streamed now. No one wants to collect movies. No one wants to collect Blu-rays. No one wants to relive an old experience. They want to wait and watch it on Netflix. Well, that's great if Netflix happens to have it on that month. The next year they may pull it. You won't be able to see it. Then what then? I don't understand it. So I feel like I'm talking to a wall sometimes. It's so frustrating. So that's why I did this rant. I want to know how you feel, honestly. And I know there's going to be a myriad of different perspectives and views in this. I have some people that feel very close to the way I feel, and I have other people that just don't see what, Dean, what are you making a big deal out of it? It's just enjoy the game, so it's gone in a year or two. There'll be new games. Well, but that flies in the face of who I am as a collector, because I want to collect all of these experiences to enjoy all the time. That's what it's all about. I love collecting art books. I love collecting my movies and my CDs and music library. I like a physical collection that I can play offline. Recently, thanks to some wonderful recommendations from my friends, I discovered this just now, the Star Wars Jedi Outcast game for my original Xbox. I cannot tell you how wonderful. This has almost brought tears to my eyes, the first level I played of this. I said, my God, why didn't I see this game before? Why didn't I know about it? I didn't have the internet back in the mid-2000s until a little bit later, until the late 2000s. So I didn't know about game reviews. I didn't know what was out. I lived out in the desert. We didn't even have a game store. We only had a Best Buy. So if they didn't have this at Best Buy, I wasn't going to know about it. I didn't see it. So there's so many games that have fallen by the wayside that I'm just now discovering. What an incredible, wonderful experience with fantastic level design. Another gem by Raven Software, one of my favorite game developers. It's now ironically relegated to what? Making multiplayer maps for Call of Duty. An outstanding developer. It just sickens me to my stomach, who made my wonderful Wolfenstein games of the past and these wonderful Star Wars games, and now they're doing these multiplayer maps for Call of Duty. What a shame. It's just another sad sign of the times. I want to know how you feel about this in the comments. I want to know just how strongly you feel one way or the other. I mean, do you really think that I'm wrong in what I'm saying? Do you think that I'm overreacting, perhaps? I honestly feel, with no exaggeration, that 40 to 50% of every new game that's coming out is server-based, cloud-based, online types of games. You know, these Forza games are really designed to play online. Let's face it and be truthful about it. That's why Microsoft is really pushing the direction of their Xbox One is really heavy streaming cloud online. That's what they want. That's the future, and I love Microsoft. I like my Windows 7 on my computer. I think it's fantastic. I absolutely have the highest respect and affection for what is my favorite console, the original Xbox. I love this console. I thought nothing could beat the PlayStation 2, but I love my Xbox console, and I love my Xbox 360 console. I have 78 or 9 games for the original Xbox and close to 150 for the Xbox 360. So obviously, and I've bought in several of each of them. It's a system that I believe in, and a system that has worked very well for me, and I've had the highest affection for it, but I just don't like this new direction that Microsoft is taking it, and PlayStation is doing it with some of their games as well. Now, fortunately, every game that I bought for my PS4, I carefully research before I get too excited and get attached to it, only to find out it's server-based only. So I can enjoy all these games for some time, you know, even on my PS4. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen down the road with patches and updates and DLC and all that, but it looks like it'll be more of the same like the PS3 or Xbox 360. As long as I have the game and everything's in my hard drive, I should be good for many, many years to come. To me, that's what I like. I'm into gaming for posterity. This game came out in, like, I think 2002, and I'm just discovering it now. Can you say the same for The Crew? Can you say the same for all the other games coming out? Like The Division, like this new Rainbow Six game. You know, like all of these other, you know, server-based games, or No Man's Sky or other ones. I don't think you can. I think that we're living in a day and age where gaming is dying. It's all about, next thing it'll be, you know, we'll be playing on little handhelds or God knows what. I don't know who is in the higher perches in the ivory towers that's deciding, oh, no one plays single-player games. Let's just give the people what they want. Give them multiplayer. Give them more microtransactions, more DLC, more online, you know, DRM and more online play. That's what they all want. No, it's not what we all want. There's lots of gamers, not just old fucks like me. There's lots of people that still want to sink their teeth into a meaty single-player experience. Whether it's a, you know, the single-player elements of Battlefront, or it's a wonderful linear story. Don't take away my dreams and hopes of being a gamer well into the future. I'm not against technology. I love my PlayStation 4. I love the graphics and frame rates. It just blows my mind, and I never cease to have a reverence and appreciation for how wonderful it is. But I cannot abide, and I will not abide, by all of these new trends. I absolutely loathe it and have nothing but disdain for where gaming is going. To me, gaming died back in 2013. That's the beginning of the end. 5 new racing games out. None of them that I can play. The only one was Project Cars, and even though it looks wonderful, there's not enough American cars for me. There's like, you know, 2 of them that I'm even interested in driving. So to me, it's like they finally come out with an offline game, and then they, you know, it has a poor list of cars. So I'm still waiting for a racing game. Nobody wanted the new Need for Speed game. Nobody more than me. And they've ruined that for me. I'm not interested in playing it for a year, 18 months, or even 2 years before the plug gets pulled on that, and then there'll be the next Need for Speed online game to dive into. I'm not going to do it. When I spend my $60 on this game, I'll be able to play this years and years later. Years later. That's what I like about gaming. That's what I like about game collecting. I make the most of my money, and I make the most of my time. I take the time to play experiences that I can savor now or down the road. That's what I love about console gaming in particular. Even some of the early PC games, like the wonderful Blade Runner game, which I've heard nothing but just outstanding things about. Sadly, it's very hard to run and operate on the newer PCs today. So a lot of even the PC games, that's why I'm really a console gamer at heart, because they're simple. You just plug it in and play it. I don't have to worry about graphics settings. I don't have to worry about, I know nothing about PCs and how to upgrade them and all that. I've had friends, oh Dean, I'll set you up, I'll build you the ultimate PC. Oh, that's great for 9 months or a year. Then what about next year? It becomes obsolete. Not interested. I like consoles and I like games that I can play any damn time I want. That's my 2 cents on it. Sorry to be so angry about this. This is just the last straw for me. I'm furious over seeing so many wonderful games that have so much potential, and it's all about, you know, multiplayer-centric gaming, and it's all about online, cloud-based, server-based features that I have zero interest in. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments how you feel, and I do appreciate your viewership. Everyone that views my videos, I look at as my friends, and that's why I do this. It's not for subs, it's not certainly for money. I do it to have a kinship and to be part of a community with like-minded gamers. So enjoy your games at all costs, and thank you for watching.